Hey guys, this is something that I wanted to post about, and something I've been doing the last couple years, and it's my experiment box, my laboratory. A lot of people have raised beds and things like that post in the general, the people that I watch and all that. Most of you people have raised beds, containers, things like that. And there's just so much advice out there on the internet. It's hard to sift through. What should I do? Should I add more of this? Should I lime? Should I use this fertilizer? Should I use it, spray this? What's for bugs? So what I did a couple years ago is that I created my experimental box. Okay, let me show it to you. This is my experiment box, and it's pretty good size. It's very deep. And it has a pole in it in case I decide I want to grow tomatoes and things like that. And it's got a cage around it in case I decide I want to try cucumbers or cantaloupe. But I could grow anything in here. I mean, lettuce, carrots, cabbage, you name it. This is my experiment box. And this is where I play around. I play around with different soils. I play around with different fertilizers. I play around with different amendments, things like biotone. All kinds of stuff. And this is sort of my little experiment. Now, one thing I do is I make sure I don't keep it next to my other boxes. I keep it on its own, just sitting out on its own. It's still getting the sun, the rain, the weather conditions, the temperatures and everything as the rest of the garden. But it's kind of isolated on its own where it's at. And I can play with it. I can try out different bug sprays. I can see, just if anything, I can make notes about different things that are going on, try different additions, just kind of experiment with. So it's like my little box over here that's, would you shut up? Hush. All right, sorry, that's my little baby. That's my little kitty. But, so I have this little box that I can experiment and play with and tend to and nurture and try different things. And if I stumble upon things that seem to be working, and I can translate that to my garden, the following season or even later in that season, and without, experimenting with your whole garden with different things, it really helps to have something on the side, a little experimental area to play around with, to try different things. I mean, different pruning, different whatever, And you could have a couple, and that would even be better. But these are like your little close nurtured plants that you try things on, you play with, you experiment. You're not going to lose your whole garden to an experiment that went awry, So, and it's fun. It's so fun to have a little, a big pot or a couple big, big. I'm talking big, that translates to something that would work in your beds. You can use these. I've got some of these big. I don't know what is it, 18-gallon or something. You can get these at Big Lots and places like that. And they're $5, $6, $7 a piece, but they're nice and deep, they're nice and wide, and you can do a lot of experimenting in them. So set you up. My advice would be to set you up and put it away, don't have it right next to your other plants in your garden. Have it in an area that gets the same amount of light and stuff, and play. Just experiment and have fun and try out things and play with it, try different sprays, and see what, it just gives you something more to do, and it doesn't affect your garden. If you do something wrong or go crazy, it's not going to kill your whole garden or affect all your plants. You added too much lime, you did too much of this, you did too much of that, and then you got to wait till next year, or, to fix it and stuff like that. Have your little experimental pot or a couple of them, and like I showed mine, it's got a cage and a pole and stuff, depending on what I decide to put in it. I think this year I'm going to experiment with cabbages and things like that, or put some early stuff in and then go to throw a tomato in there, and it helps you with the varieties as well. You know, maybe you have your garden beds all full of all different varieties that you want to try, but you had one that you're kind of interested in. Set you up your little container, your little box, put a pole in it or a cage around it or whatever, and try that variety, just that one. Keep it away from your other plants and see how, see how it does. But anyway, I guess that's what the basis of my post is, just set you up a little experiment, a little play toy, a little something that you can play around in. If something dies, if you screw up, it's no big loss. You know, you haven't messed with anything in your garden beds, but if it's something that really works and you just have great results and you're seeing good results and things like that, remember that or write it down and incorporate that into your beds the following season, or maybe later in the season if you can do that even. So anyway, just wanted to post my garden experiment box that I've been doing for a couple years, and I'll tell you, that's my favorite area to play around in out here a lot of times. And thanks for watching, guys. I'll talk to you later. Bye.